Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
I poured some of them in my cup, and I did not see the peanuts in there. It tasted great. I don't think you're at fault on this one.
Thank you. It felt crazy because I'm so careful, and I threw a handful of that mix into my mouth sitting in my car in the Trader Joe's parking lot before I pulled out because I was so hungry, and I'd grab the bag without looking and did that, last minute snack grab. It was like on the end cap in the aisle where I was paying.
It was an impulse buy?
It was total impulse buy, and fucking bit me in the ass with its shady hidden peanut factor.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to get the bag.
Yeah.
We got to do a warning.
Warning. For everyone who's allergic to peanuts, do not eat the Trader Joe's snack mix that is, Mike's getting it. He's got it.
All right.
Here we go. All right.
If you're listening, it's delicious, but if you're allergic to peanuts, the spicy Shakri mix, which is crunchy, spicy Indian-style snack mix, you can't even see the peanuts on the packaging.
It doesn't look peanutty. I should have... Yeah, I mean, I always read the ingredients because if it contains any allergens, they pull that out at the bottom. So it's very quick to spot. When you flip it over and you look at the ingredients, it'll always say contains
Oh, it does here.
soy.
Contains milk peanut.
Yeah, there you go. So I should have seen that, but I didn't look at the back, and I grabbed the bag and I threw a handful in my mouth and had a terrible night.
You know how we all have to carry clear backpacks now when we go to music festivals and a lot of high schools?
Yeah.
I think that we need all clear. If there's a nut involved, you need clear packaging. Like a trail mix is always a clear package. I think that anything nut-based needs a clear package.
I think that light actually biodegrades foodstuffs, and that's why they're in opaque packaging. But I will say, I do wish that there was like a really clear thing on the front of anything with peanuts in it that's like a little logo of some kind, like how vegan or plant-based foods mostly, now you're super easy to see because they have that little logo on them.
And even on weed, they have a weed leaf with like a kind of a warning exclamation point through it in California.
Warning.
Yeah. Or recycling. Why don't we have a universal peanut symbol?
There should be. I am calling for one. I would like, even if it's just Mr. Peanut tipping his little top hat, tip top with the monocle, just saying, hey, I'm in here. Don't eat me, because it sucked. I yacked for hours. Luckily, I didn't have so much that I had to go to the hospital or use my EpiPen or anything, but still super bums.
Man, brutal. I'm so sorry that happened to you, Mary Jane.
Thanks, Mike. It was, it's always a bummer when you put a snack in your mouth and then it hurts. So,
well, what up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Good. I'm okay. Are you okay now?
I am okay now. Thank you very much. Yes.
Awesome. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everybody. This is a podcast about comedy,
cannabis,
culture,
cooking,
calling shit out,
and good friends.
Good friends.
Great people.
Caitlin Gill.
Caitlin.
Cautionary tales.
Yep.
About peanuts. Yeah. I want to read a little bit about Shakri because I'd never heard of it before. I hope I am pronouncing it right. Shakri, Chakri, which is a spiral Indian snack made of rice flour. For the Trader Joe's spicy Shakri mix, they combine pieces of Shakri with crunchy, spicy chickpeas, rice-based tidbits, as well as peanuts, curry leaves, and turmeric. Warm spices, delicious crunch.
Yeah. Best kind of mix of, I love a Chex mix, a snack mix, any kind of crunchy, salty, bunch of different textures in your mouth all at the same time. The most fun.
Yeah.
Don't hide peanuts in there.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Well, I'm glad you're okay now.
Thank you very much. I just delighted to...
Can I have this?
Yes, you can absolutely take them with you.
Low key, I was also kind of like, this is delicious. Yo, can I? I'm going to... Cool, because I'm going to finish this bag tonight.
Great, thank you. Take them away.
Wow, I'm kind of like your hero.
You are my peanut hero.
Wow.
That's true.
Do you want to get to the news?
Yes, I would love to get to the news. Yes. Sorry, I'm just pulling up because we had the Grub Gazette. It's presented.
The Grub Gazette is presented by OCB Rolling Papers, the largest rolling paper brand in the world, crafted naturally since 1918.
OCB offers a full line of plant-to-puff papers made with sustainable fibers farmed from within a 500-kilometer radius of their facility in France, which is powered by 100% green energy.
In 2020, OCB rolled out America's first ultra-thin, slow-burning bamboo rolling papers and cones. They're even-burning, no-tear, GMO-free, and they're vegan.
Not all rolling papers are created equal. OCB offers a premium smoking experience that we call Harmony on High.
Yes, we do. Ask for OCB wherever you buy your papers and sample the entire line of products. Plus, visit OCBUSA.com and follow OCB on Instagram at OCB_USA.
If you like what we do, please support the folks that support us. Thank you, OCB.
Thank you, OCB. And the Grub Gazette is from Marijuana Moment this week. You can check out their great news site, marijuanamoment.net. And today's news story is that the NFL is funding marijuana research as federal prohibition adversely impacts studies into opioid alternative for players. Let me say it a better way. The NFL is going to be funding weed research to help their players get better.
This is so great. So this story says that a representative from the Joint Pain Management Committee, PMC, which is a commission that's been formed between the NFL and the league's players' unions.
Player Association.
Yeah. So there's this commission called the Pain Management Committee, and a representative said that clearly there are a lot of great ideas in the space of weed, and there's a lot of important research that needs to be funded. It's great.
It's huge. So they're offering up to $1 million in grants for researchers to investigate the therapeutic potential of weed. And so here's a couple things the league is specifically interested in. The effects of cannabinoids on pain in football players post-surgery and in daily pain management. The effects of non-pharmacological treatments on pain. The effects of cannabis or cannabinoids on athletic performance as well. So the whole goal is so many retired players have CTE, and it's it's deadly.
Right. So CTE is the disease that comes from suffering multiple traumatic brain injuries that can then lead to this progressive and fatal disease, which is crazy.
So, and it's great because that part's not great, but it's great that the NFL is going to be researching and helping pay for research into these things because, they stopped the drug test for weed. But now to really put their money where their mouth is and start clinical research to help these players with CTE, to help people who are retired whose knees are shot from 10 years in the league, to help players who are playing now with their recovery and not give them opioids. Setting a precedence I didn't expect, NFL.
Yeah, it's great. They did research on CBD last year, which is really interesting. They held 2 informational forums on CBD last year, and their initial findings weren't definitive, but they determined basically that there's not enough science to back up the hype. So they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're contributing to the science, and they're getting some clinical research and data to support the fact that, what we all know is that weed is a healing plant.
Absolutely.
Hold for chopper.
Hold for chopper. That's the NBA being like, man. There was a quote that I wanted to read that I thought was really interesting from the head of the Joint Pain Management Committee, Dr. Kevin Hill. He said, you have a lot of folks, both states and companies, who are profiting considerably through the sale of cannabis and other cannabinoids, and most of those groups are not contributing to the science. Mm-hmm. Word.
Yeah. So he's putting you on notice. If you're a cannabis company that makes money, give back to research.
Yeah. Well, it also ties right into our episode with Rachel and Megan Rapinoe, and how when Megan was like, our travel schedule is grueling, and they would just hand me a handful of pills and I would pop them back, and that'd be that, and I'd feel great. But also, what the hell did I just swallow? Mm-hmm. A little bit of weed, much better choice.
Yeah.
And the research to back it up will prove that. So, yeah. And it also goes into our Patreon episode with Natalie Fertig, who was talking about one of the big sticking points. She writes for Politico. Please check her out on our Patreon. And she said one of the big sticking points when you come at some politicians too hot is what they'll say is, yes, I would love to support it, but there's no research out there. There's no data out there for me to show my base.
And the reason there's no research and no data is because it's a Schedule I drug that's been made illegal at a federal level. So that's the first thing that needs to happen, is that we need to deschedule cannabis so that it can be available for research across the board.
Yeah.
Very important.
fucking right.
What a great story. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that the NFL is like, setting a great precedent. Let's get some research to use this plant, a plant that grows, that is easily, available legally in 36 states now for medical treatment. So it's time to get the research to back up what everyone knows.
Absolutely. And then the NBA can follow suit, and the MLB and NHL, like all the sports organizations can already. I can't even imagine the World Wrestling.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine the WWE, how important it would be to their well-being as well?
I was just thinking about the NHL. I mean, the hockey players, I can only imagine what your joints go through with the hits that you take on the ice.
Fucking sports, man.
Yeah.
So you heard it here first. Mary Jane wants to legalize the plant known as cannabis, and she wants to ban the bean known as peanut.
That's correct.
That's the platform she's running on.
Peanuts should definitely be illegal.
The data backs it up. Look at my lips.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm thrilled that these organizations are taking steps forward. That you can always say things like better late than never. And in this case, I think that's true.
Yeah, the tide is turning. I mean, it's really neat in 2021 to just cast a look back over the last 7 years, and just see how much things have changed and how quickly states are moving to legalize access to cannabis, both medically and for adult use. It's a pretty amazing time that we're alive in.
Oh, the Olympics are coming.
Yeah.
Are you an Olympic?
I'm an Olympic nerd.
Me too.
Big time.
Did I tell you about what I used to do when I collected the sports page every single day of the Olympics every 4 years for winter and summer?
Let's hear it.
It was like hoarding levels of newspapers in my room as an elementary school kid. Because this was a time when the Olympics were the front page of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch sports section, and it would say like day 1 of blank number of days in the Olympics, and I would collect all of them and I would read all of them front to back, and then I would save them in their specific year. And I just had Olympic sports pages covering a whole wall of my room in drawers. And it's just my favorite time of the year, or it's a time of every 4 years.
Was it, I mean, obviously you're a hockey person, but were there other sports that you couldn't wait to see, or was it just the Olympics in general and the whole sort of?
I think it's the idea of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just the greatest on earth from every country coming together for one competition every 4 years for supremacy, athletic supremacy.
I think everyone probably remembers where they were when Michael Phelps swam that 8th medal winning race. I was in Cape May in New Jersey with friends, and we all went to a place that had TVs so we could all watch it while we cracked crab and just cheered him on. It was one of the most incredible feats I've ever seen. Or Usain Bolt, or any of the fucking great athletes of our time. Mary Lou Retton was before your time, but she was the athlete.
Yeah, but she got tens.
Yeah. It was just it's really exciting.
By the way, Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, weed smokers.
Yeah, exactly. I bet Mary Lou Retton fucking gets on the CBD train too.
Yeah. It was interesting because the ones that I didn't feel the most relationship to were things like decathlete. I like the dedication to a 100-yard dash more. I like the dedication to a butterfly stroke more. I think it's being the best at one thing.
I got to argue with you on
really?
that. For biathletes, the biathlon, where they ski and then they shoot.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole deal is that you ski so hard and then you have to shoot, and you have to calm your breath and your heart rate to be a fucking sharpshooter, marksman, whatever the term.
Whatever it means when your arms are shaking, you have to hit a bullseye.
And your heart is pounding. And oh my God, I just think, so I think that's one of my favorites. It's actually the biathlon.
That's a great one. Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah. But that's not even an exception to the rule. That's just a brilliant fucking sport.
It's the craziest thing when you shot put. It's just nuts.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love all of it.
It's
I love
so
all
cool.
of it.
I saw the Olympic torch once when the Olympics, I can't remember where they were being held in Canada, but the whole run of the Olympics torch started in my hometown, and we went to see it pass by, and it just felt really special.
That's fucking special.
It felt special. Yeah, it was pretty magical. I saw a lot of interesting things in that small town, St. John's, Newfoundland. I saw the Pope. I saw the Olympic torch. I saw Richard Branson lift off in a helium balloon to try and fly across the Atlantic.
The fuck? And there's a Broadway play written about it?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Come from away.
Mm-hmm. You really lived in a spot.
Yeah, this is a total spot. Go to Newfoundland, everyone. It's real cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
How do you feel if the Olympics come to LA?
See, I'm a little torn because I know how crazy it is when the Olympics come to town because of just like how, obviously the infrastructure of the city then supporting an extra, however many million people show up.
Tons of problems.
It's a wild time. But I'm kind of an Olympics nerd. So I think what I would want to do is rent out my house for a bunch of money and, move in with a friend to say, maybe you and I could stay together for the time of the Olympics. And then one of us can rent out the other place to
that's a good
make
idea.
some cash.
Yeah.
And then spend that cash on going to the fucking Olympics.
Yo, that's a well done plan right there.
That's how you fund your,
I love
your
our
tickets.
we're like the most low key, low rent Ocean's 11 you will ever meet. Not even that big of a plan to crack. Just I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll save up all of our weed and, rent out one of our homes and just spend the whole month baked and going to see amazing sports.
Yeah. Waking up early to see the thing at 2 a.m.
Yes.
That's my favorite, man.
So
I fucking
excited.
love it. Yeah. I want them to be here. Everybody, I know I've read the articles about how when the Olympics leave, there's more problems than good and
Well, and the thing
all
is,
of it. But
more often than not, I think one of the problems is that they build crazy sports facilities. Like in Montreal, the Olympic Stadium is an insane structure that's completely fucking falling apart. But I think that LA already has enough stadiums and structures built, so hopefully they won't have to do a huge revamp of facilities and displace anything that's already existing.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll just get some stuff. Get some.
See, that's
get
really
some of
what
the
I'm
traffic
hoping
flowing
is
better.
and also let's get the this fucking homeless population
funded and
housed.
Yes, please.
Do not move them because the Olympics are here.
House them. Fund the programs to get them housed and helped. Absolutely.
Take care of your fucking people.
Yeah, I hope a huge part of that Olympics cash, most if not all of it, should go to solving the homelessness crisis.
Please.
The unhoused crisis, I guess is a better way to say it, in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Okay. I just because I'm so stoked for next month with Tokyo, and it's, in a different place, a different time. I would have flown there to go see them somewhere. And that's another goal of mine is when they're not here to go fly to Rio de Janeiro to see them and things like that. I love the fucking Olympics. I don't know how we got on this, but I love
another
them.
thing that I want to do that's not Olympics related, but I would love to do it specifically with you because it would involve going to Europe. And I think you and I should go to Europe and travel and smoke weed in Europe. I want to go to Portugal. There is a surf break there where a woman surfer last year broke huge records by surfing the biggest wave that any female surfer had ever surfed. And it's constantly breaking records, but it's just this insane surf break. And it's really close to shore. So you can actually stand on a cliff and watch these surfers come in on these, 10-story high waves.
Holy fuck.
And I just think that's sort of I guess a bucket list item, for lack of a better term, for me to stand on that cliff and feel the salt spray and watch someone defy
surf a building
laws of nature and gravity by surfing a building. I want to go there.
Damn. It's amazing.
In Portugal.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's go.
Down. All right, this will be our final episode.
We're going to Portugal.
We're vaxxed and going to Portugal to see people surf on building tall waves.
Yes.
It's been a good ride.
That sounds good. Well, I'm so glad to drop this very last episode of Weed and Grub ever with the wonderful Caitlin Gill.
Yeah, no doubt.
Should we do Buds of the Week?
Yeah, let's do Buds of the Week this week.
Okay. You want to go first or second?
Can I do a double bud?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, my pre-bud is I want to shout out Zoe, The Last Prisoner Project, and 40 Tons because they threw a amazing fundraiser for Dr. G. And I just want to raise a little bit of awareness about what's going on with Dr. G right now before I get to my bud of the week. So Dr. G is a Malaysian who is in prison and facing death because they sold chocolate bars and brownie edibles made with hemp seed oil. If you want to hear a little bit more about it, there's an entire Vice article about what's going on right now. 2 people have been sentenced to death for cannabis-related offenses, and he's in prison, and it's looking like he's going to be the third. And so we went to this really good fundraiser, raised a bunch of money. A lot of people spoke, including Corvain Cooper from 40 Tons, who's been on. And it's just something that I want to mention, where if you're looking for a good place to put your money where your mouth is and raise a little bit of money and raise a little bit of awareness, check out Dr. G and check out the article on Vice. And the name of the article is "This Malaysian Godfather is Facing Death for Weed."
Wow.
Yeah. So
We'll put a link to that story in the show notes as well.
yes, great. Great. That's so, as we ban peanuts and legalize weed, also got to get people out of prison who are there wrongfully.
Absolutely.
My butt of the week this week is Kristen Layden. Kristen is Kristen. Layden is Layden. She's our friend. It was her birthday.
Happy birthday, Kristen.
She has an Emmy in her living room casually in the corner.
I took a picture of it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was amazing. She most recently, I think, wrote for the morning show on Apple TV.
Rachel Aniston, yeah.
Rachel Aniston.
No, what's her name?
Jennifer Aniston. Rachel was her character on Friends. But it took me a second because you said it and I was like, I think that's wrong. Yeah.
Rachel Aniston.
Mm-hmm. Rachel Aniston.
I'm now going to meet her and that's going to come out of my mouth. There's no stopping that.
Man. Wow. Okay. She's a big weed smoker, evidently.
Oh, yeah.
So I've heard. She keeps it low key, but I think she's, loves the herb.
We'll smoke with her.
Awesome. Happy birthday, Kristen.
Happy birthday.
Just a fucking awesome. Kristen and Julian are sort of neighbors. They're like just a few blocks from me. And early in the pandemic, we did a trade where Kristen was baking incredible breads and they brought a loaf of fresh sourdough in exchange for some flour that I had. And it was just the greatest weed and bread exchange on the stoop, safe drop-off pandemic situation ever.
Yo, that's right. Because she was a bread baker pre-pandemic. Last time she had a birthday, what would that be? A year ago?
Yeah. About a year ago?
Didn't she make that rainbow cake? It was like 5 different layers of 5 different colors of cake with a vanilla cream in between each layer.
Yep.
And it was moist and delicious and sweet and big honking slices. It was awesome. Kristen, you're very cool. Happy birthday.
Love a big fucking slice of cake. Awesome. My butt of the week this week is Stretchy Feed. At Stretchy Feed on IG, we received a DM from Stretchy Feed just saying that we helped them get through a stressful school year with Weed and Grub and a whole bunch of other nice stuff. And I'm not going to read it out loud and put them on blast, but it was just a really heartening, lovely message to receive from a new friend in the DM. So thank you at Stretchy Feed. It was really appreciated. Warmed all my nerve endings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tip of the toes?
Yep.
Fingers?
Even the nose.
No, scalp?
Yep.
Wow.
All tingly.
All tingles.
Yep. Felt great.
So nice.
Yeah, it was like a what's it called? The antidote. It was an antidote to the peanut feeling. The peanut feeling, all bad. This, all good.
Somebody say something nice to her. She's choking.
Yeah. It's better than any EpiPen. Give her a compliment.
They just stab you in the heart with a compliment.
With compliments and love. Listen, I swear to God, that is true medicine. Like when I'm having, an allergic reaction and you just hug me, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get through this.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
That's so beautiful. I mean, that feels like how I felt when we talked to Caitlin today, our VIB, our very important bud.
It was truly, yes, all the parts of my body warmed. Mm-hmm. Warmed by Caitlin's amazing, kind, wonderful, funny, cool vibes. And she made art while we spoke.
To set up a little context for this interview, while we were talking with Caitlin over Zoom, who has a brand new company called Guarantee Shirts. Guarantee Shirts is her new venture as her and Kelly moved to Joshua Tree. And as we were talking to her, she was doing a silkscreen printing of the Weed and Grub logo onto t-shirts for us, and she's getting so good at it, and her company is bubbling up. So if you're looking for t-shirts, please support Caitlin. And it was just such a great time to talk with someone who's in the middle of making their dreams come true and then making us on shirts while making their dreams come true.
I've seen Caitlin destroy on stage, specifically the one most amazing night that I saw her destroy was when she went up after Dave Chappelle at your show, Glazed to the Hollywood Improv, and Dave Chappelle sat and basically just kind of riffed with her while she was up there, and he loved it. Like
she got a standing ovation. Yeah.
She got a fucking cosign from Dave Chappelle and a standing ovation. It was fucking awesome. So I've seen her destroy as a comedian on stage so many times, and then to watch her in this new world that she's created for herself in this, it sounds like a pretty crazy, amazing space with an RV and a swimming pool. I mean, we get into it. You'll hear all about it.
Ready?
Ready to get to it?
Yeah. Without further ado, here's our interview with
Caitlin Gill. Carry your smoking accessories in style with Life's Essentials Made Neat, LEMN, or Lemon for short.
Handcrafted from high-quality wood, Lemon stash kits provide a smart way to carry your essentials.
Lemon is designed to enhance your smoking experience on the go and make sure you look neat doing it.
The kits come in 3 sizes, all portable and all highly discreet.
Lemon kits are crafted from wood and Italian leather and have a gilded gold leaf logo as a beautiful finishing touch.
So visit thelemon.com and use code WEEDGRUB, WEEDGRUB, all one word, for 10% off your own lemon stash kit.
That's THELEMN.com and use code WEEDGRUB for 10% off.
They're beautiful.
Love them.
We have so much to catch up on. How the hell are you?
I don't know. How does one answer that question anymore?
That's legit.
I'm great. I am not. I am all of it. Isn't life a spectacle these days? But I try to keep my brain on the stuff that's good. There's a lot of good stuff. So yeah, overall, good. But I feel like that can be said with a question mark and a slightly surprised lilt. I think that's appropriate these days.
Do we want to give a couple of cold readings on the word good to start us off?
Good. No, good.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Really
Good.
doing good.
You know, good is what I'm good. Yeah. It's good, you know? Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, through the teeth.
The
That's
primal
one.
scream behind the teeth.
I know it's so good, though. Some days you're just like, the sun is up, and so am I. And no, I'm all right. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Thank you so much for asking.
That's the answer.
Man, the last time we hung out on this podcast, we came over to your house. You made us some slammin' ribs. We got super fucking high.
Right.
I have a picture of myself next to your bong with tiny eyes.
Beautiful.
I have tiny eyes.
That's a nice picture to have. That feels good. I'm glad that you have that.
It was good. I had tight cheeks and tiny eyes. It was a good time. You showed us the best time with both weed and grub. And here we are again now, catching up. And you're in like a different space. You have different things happening. There's so much to hear about.
So much is different, which is, I suppose, natural. But I hope the audience could like cosmically feel my fist pumping of joy that you enjoyed the visit to my home. That always makes me proud and feel good. But yes, I do recall having a splendid time the last time we got to chat and catch up. Much has changed. The last year, of course, with everybody else, I just rode the wind as it came. And yeah, I guess I'll stay on the cool shit, which is that we wound up, me and the sweet lady, wound up in like the Joshua Tree area in a house, like a home. You know, we don't own it. We're renters. Let's not go crazy here. But, like, it's a home with, like, rooms and doors, which is, like, new to us. We've been together over 7 years, and for most of that time, we've shared a room or a studio. So, like, we have, like, doors that close. And multiple rooms with, like, a S on the end of rooms, and not just, like, a studio where it's like, no, that's the kitchen. That's, like, a room. But it's not. It's just the space that you're in. I love that life, but we're not in it right now. We're on 2.5 acres with a pool in the middle of the most gorgeous desert. And it feels like every day it's, like, healing something I might not have even known needed it. So that's nice.
Wow.
It's a special place.
Yeah.
We don't see neighbors. It's crazy. I'll take it. You know, whatever got us here, okay. Like, we all have to look back and do a lot of healing and, like, look at where we are and appreciate what we got. And at the moment, a lot of it feels kind of awesome. Yeah. I keep fidgeting. Can I tell you what I'm playing with? Can we talk about this thing? We
Let's
also
go.
talk about food, because the other thing I did... So what I did today, I wanted to make you a present while we were hanging out. Because I miss you, and even virtual faces is like so nice to see. I'm gonna swipe so I can also see. Hi, Mike. I haven't seen you this whole time. That is so funny. Grandma still not good at the anyway. But I wanted to make a thing while we were hanging out, and so I fussed with it all day, and then it was 2, which is the time in actual time and space at which we are recording. So in the middle of the fussing, I felt like frustrated by something I was trying to do, so I stopped and made a pizza dough, which I thought was something the two of you could potentially relate to. That like, well, fuck it, I don't know how to do this thing I'm trying to do, so I'm gonna go do something I do know how to do real quick that'll be tasty later. But like right now, I'm just not gonna do that.
Yeah. I've made projection pizza dough before.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah. So it was a little bit of that. But then I came back to the project and approached it a different way, and it worked, and that is what happens, and it feels cool and exciting. But in the last year, I have like started making t-shirts, like for realsies. I got like awesome real equipment, and like that's what I do all day is like learn how to do it really well and do it for the people who buy my t-shirts and myself, and more and more my friends. And it's like the coolest thing. It's such a tactile art, and so many elements of it remind me of cooking that I thought it would be fun to like have it ready to play with while we got to hang out. So I did, and I'll send some pictures. I'll try to be good about like, you know, especially as I clean up, and I took a couple while I was making them, you know, less while I'm actually hanging out with you, but I'll make sure we have some shots. But I made you guys like a stencil, a silkscreen stencil for your sweet little podcast logo. Let me
It
see
looks
if
so
I can do it
good.
right. What? So, yeah, I just wanted to, you know, I played with it a few different ways because there's so many different ways to do this, but like in the end, single color was going to be the funnest to do while we were hanging out. So I got it all ready and briefly chatted with Mike, but Mary Jane chimed in here. So rude that I only texted one of you. What a faux pas. My apologies. Oh my God. And that it was the man? How 1869 of me.
I don't think you have my number, so it's okay.
Do I not? I think that's possible, but I also think we fixed that at one point, determined to hang out, and then we didn't. And I listened to a previous episode of Weed and Grub and heard a description that hit so close to my heart, which was the mullet hang. Fans of the pod might remember the description of Mike as being a person who gets down to business to hang out, and of course I'm literally making the thing I do for work for us so we can hang out virtually. So I think I'm infected with a bit of this myself, and was so determined to just hang out with you, Mary Jane, that I was then incapable of doing it. I like this immovable object, unstoppable force situation happened over time.
Oh man, it's weaving everything I love together. The mullet hang and projection pizza and
Yes.
cool art. It's the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is all of that.
And if you remember the first time we hung out and recorded at your place, Caitlin, you were using a knife at the cutting board and we were all smoking weed. And
that
you
sounds
said,
right.
looking down at the knife, "You two are my friends now." And then you were like, "I'm so sorry. That was a creepy thing to say." Holding a knife, cutting up vegetables.
That's right.
To nobody. And so...
The irony of the fact that I just picked up tiny scissors. That you knew.
Heck
You
yes.
couldn't see that I was doing it, but that's what I was just picking up.
Yeah. So, like, this is our friendship. I think it's a great friendship. I
think
love
it's very
that
solid.
you're doing, is it called a screen printing as
Yes.
we're doing this? A silk printing?
This
Screen
is
printing.
silk screen and screen printing are the same process. It's just that the screens used to be made of silk, and they are not anymore. I think this is like nylon.
Cool.
But somebody out there who knows how to do this better than me is going to be like, "No, it's not," and that's fine by me. This is like a
Why'd you start
trade.
learning this?
Because
Yeah.
over the past year is how I'll refer to the events of 2020. I realized that comedy wasn't going to pay the bills. Not that it really had before, but it definitely wasn't going to in the near future. I had just put an album out. It was kind of a weird opportunity where I was like more flush but couldn't do anything. And I recognized that like the next few years were gonna take a new approach, like professionally. So I thought about the things that I really like to do and some things that I had learned that I knew I could get better at. And a lot of that was like graphic design, Photoshop, and Illustrator stuff, and an interest in sort of more tangible art. And so I looked at what was possible, and the first thing I invested in was a white toner printer. I have a very special fancy printer that prints white, which printers don't normally do. Printers get their color by mixing cyan, yellow, magenta, and then black. But I can toss a white in there, which does crazy stuff. It sounds kind of crazy, like silly, but, it's awesome. And it's something that is new and changes the way we can make stuff, specifically make comedians merch. I can make small runs on demand of full color images for comics, like with the equipment I have, and it's the coolest thing. So I've started working with clients as I can. Like, it's just growing. The company started in September. Getting comedian stores and really good quality merchandise that's well designed and really well made with these crazy tools. And there's one artist I work with that makes such beautiful art that I knew would be better served by learning how to do screen printing than using the tool I already had, that I got the tools to do screen printing. Like, the stuff that we're going to make together is so good and I believe in it so much that, like, I'll straight up learn a trade to do it right because it's so good. And I've had this machine for like 2 weeks-ish and finally burned, the 3 screens I needed to do the project right and all the right colors and mixed all the inks and lined everything up right and made a couple shirts, and they looked so beautiful and they felt so beautiful, and it was just the coolest feeling. And there's more to do. Like, I am a baby at this. It is an Othello type thing. I hope I didn't already say that, where it's not hard to learn how to do, but like getting good at it takes for fucking ever. And this is a trade. People stay in it for like 30 years. So I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm a pro at this. I'm working really hard to have like a workflow that makes quality stuff so that people get good things and stay realistic about what I'm capable of. But I've also learned to make really cool shit, and I'm super excited to like make more of it.
Can I ask you about the Othello thing? What do you mean by that? I don't think I've heard that term.
Oh, it's that game. It's that weird game with like black and white pieces on a board, and I forget how to play, but like its tagline is Othello, a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. So it's like a simple game, but its strategy is compelling. So like you could get lost and stuck in like learning how to play someone at Othello. So it's one of those games that's fun because it's quick to teach, but like people get into how they play.
A lot of people in our lives, everywhere, are following their heart more than ever before right now.
Yeah.
And I was like writing last night. It was like 2 a.m, and I was writing about the word pivot because pivot feels...
Dude, can you hang on 1 second? That's the name of my company that I started. It's called Pivot Print.
Stop it.
Just so you know. I just can't believe you said that word and we're writing about it and just about to talk about it enough that I interrupted you. Please tell me what you wrote. It seemed like something important to say after and not be like, or before and not after, be like, and my company's name is Pivot. Like, I wanted you to feel in the moment me be like, Pivot? You're fucking kidding. That's
I love it.
So rad.
Well, I love it because that's amazing, Caitlin. Damn. We haven't talked in like a year, and it feels like we haven't lost a step. It's just that I was raised to think that like pivoting is quitting instead of following your heart.
No way.
And then, you know what I mean? And then the more I wrote about it, the more I was like, damn, no, you know what it is? It's like finding things that make you really happy and then getting really good at stuff that you weren't allowing yourself to even consider before. And I don't know, it was just one of those, like, it was more of a journal than like time to be funny, Mike. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It was a little more honest than I'd normally talk about on here. But like, I've just been thinking a lot about pivoting and seeing you lean full bore into pivot prints. And we have another friend, Tiff, who has leaned into her flower company and their beautiful flowers. And we have another friend, Ellen, who is leaning super hard into her gift box business because she's always wanted to do something in like the gift box industry. It's just it's an exciting time to like reconnect with folks like yourself because, the world is a pretty fucked up place. And so we're all just doing the best we can.
It was wild to look at like the national experience and see jobs numbers and the numbers of starting businesses and see how many people literally just like me are kind of taking a swing on something. And it's inspiring, just like so many things this year have been shared experiences in unexpected ways. This is another one that like, getting nitty gritty, so many women lost jobs and started businesses. So many, a staggering number that like, I'm kind of excited to like see expanding relationships in the next 5 years as like I grow and those businesses grow, and like specifically finding those people, not to say that there's not so much experience in better established businesses, but like finding the folks who shared this experience of finding something they can do well and growing into it sort of through this time frame intrigues me. I'm curious to see what other people are up to because it's awesome. And there's like the opposite of shame and pivoting, like part of what comedy gave me, I think, and I used to use this metaphor about stuff on stage, but I think it's broader than that, is like you have a tool belt, and in your life you expand your tool belt, and it's cool you get really, really good at your drill, but if you're no good at your hammer, why is it hanging on your tool belt? Like, you got to use all your tools and find out, you know, stretch and expand them, because every time you do, you get better at something else. Like, you know, when I say this relates to cooking, like, I don't have to think about things in the kitchen because my brain's already engaged in this other craft, and my hands start doing something I'm familiar with because, like, I cannot focus on it in a new way. And that'll happen on stage, and it'll happen in relationships. It's like learning rules. Pivoting is learning. And learning, you like feel it. Like, I turned 40 during the pandemic, and I haven't had a period of, like, you know, kind of intellectual focus on new material like this since in a long time. And it's like so cool. And the opposite of anything like too late, whatever the fuck that means. It's like, just learn stuff. Like, learning feels cool. Like, it's so neat. It's vulnerable, and a lot of it sucks, and you screw up, and, like, you know, some of it's like, I waste materials and it feels so bad, but every time I try something, I learn. So, like, did I? It's like, yes, but also no. You know, it's, yeah.
It sounds like you're just trusting your instinct and, you know, following what feels right. Have you, in your life, ended up in a spot where you felt like you're on the wrong path at all? Like, have you ever had a sort of wrong time, wrong moment feeling in your life? Because when I experienced that for the first time, it was kind of later in life. I was really surprised when all of a sudden I looked around and I was like, oh, this isn't where I actually thought I would be right now. It was just, yeah, I'm just wondering if you've had that experience.
You know, yes, and I'm curious to stay on this topic and sort of ask, like, you know, yes, I have. I think I did it a little bit younger when I just realized I chased the wrong rabbits because they're exciting to run after. And I mean that sort of like, I'm a political science major from college, but that isn't my field. Like, I so thought that I was going to be, like, in the movie Primary Colors, like, which tells you that I didn't realize I should have been watching the movie War Room, a literal documentary about the same election. So, you know, dated movie references aside, like, I've definitely chased the wrong path. But I don't think you have to be like, oh man, comedy is weird, right? Like, you end up places you don't want to be doing something you really want to do sometimes. And measuring that gets really difficult. Finding the balance of that is, like, very hard. Like, how much of a threshold do you have for shitty situations or people when that is, like, the trade-off for access to the stuff you do love? And, like, where do you find that balance? And if you're asking that question at all, are you in the right place?
Yo, there it is. That's what's up.
So much of it, I think, for me, a lot of it is about embracing, letting go of things, or not embracing, the opposite of embracing. Actually, like opening my arms up and letting go of things. Like, I feel like, you know, I hang on to things and I don't know how to let go of them. Sometimes I don't know how to let go of something that's actually hurting me. And that's,
for sure,
you know, such an interesting thing to this, because the second you let go of it, it feels better. I mean, I just got rid of a giant coffee table in my home that was literally ruining my life. Yeah. And I just took it outside and I put it on the curb, and the person who was in their car at the curb was like, "Are you getting rid of that table?" And I was like, "Yeah, do you want it?" And I helped that person put it in their car.
Perfect.
And they drove off with a new coffee table, and now I have open space in my living room, and I'm like, that was fucking easy. I should have got rid of that 2 years ago.
But you wouldn't have been, like, there wouldn't have been that person right who needed it right then. Like, you know, share what you got, keep what you need. You never know. And sometimes you don't need it anymore. And then it's just something you got. You can share it. But if you didn't have anything else in your living room for 2 years, you know, I don't know, we're in different situations. I don't always have coffee table money lying around. I also just, like, dumped my financial security into these tools. So there you go. That was my year. Like,
wow.
That's exciting.
Well, yeah, not to be over dramatic about it. Like, you know, essentially the amount of money I've spent is like a pretty okay used car. But I could use one of those too. So like, it's a big investment in just like material equipment I literally have to live and move with and use to like generate income. But I also see its like potential to be so exciting. And like, honestly, the mind change of like, the simplest way to say it is the switch from like, who books that to like, how can I help? Where like mentally, I think I'd been like finding tricks to stay out of the who books that trap, which to like, you know, clarify is sort of that sensation of like hearing about an opportunity that somebody else like came up on and your first instinct being like, fuck you, who books that? How do I get it? And like, so much of comedy or entertainment feels zero-sum, like a zero-sum game where if you win, I lose, that instinct is like, you know, difficult. I think I'm not the only comedian to bring it up. Like, and I remember very early on feeling lucky that I came up with strategies for like dealing with it. Where literally a friend got an opportunity that like, when I still lived in the Bay, something came up for them, and my first like reaction was like so repellent even to me that I was like, like shitty about it. Not externally, but my internal response felt bad, and like I'm so thankful for the voice. I'm sure this wasn't my own advice. I heard it from somewhere else that was just like, fake it, fix your face, like smile, say congratulations out loud, give them a hug. They might be scared, like. And they were, like, their response was so thankful to have, like, someone not be prickly about it that it sort of fed itself. And I did have to fake it for a while where I was just sort of like, yeah, great for you, ha ha ha. And then it worked because the feedback loop is so positive. But, like, I didn't stay great at it over 12 years in comedy. Like, I definitely had to work the muscle back up when it would fade in times when I was, like, delivering food to literal casting agents or studios, which happened on enough occasions that I bring it up a lot.
I feel that. Yep, 100%.
So the shift in like, you know, making this investment and sort of seeing my friends' potential and like how many comedians don't take advantage of merch because it takes a lot of either money or organization or time, and like talking to a lot of comedians and hearing that they all sort of hit the same roadblocks and, you know.
And also, there's a lot of shitty fucking merch out there.
So much, and
Caitlin.
I'm really stubborn about it not being shitty. Like, it just can't be. And like, you know, I keep mentioning this one artist without mentioning them, and it'll come up, like, I don't want to, it's their art, so like, they can talk about it. But like, some of the stuff and designs I get to work with are so cool that like, they do not deserve a crummy t-shirt. I won't call out brands. Like, if you got a favorite in your closet, I'm not going to be like, your shirt sucks because it's one of those. Like, no, it doesn't. Your shirt is rad because you love it. Like, I have picked blanks that I think are a quality that, like, make people look great and make images look great. And, like, that's what I'm going to use. They are not the cheapest ones.
Fuck no, thank God. I just have to add to it, and I'm not going to name the brand because I don't want to give them any kind of shine at all.
Right.
But there is a well-known company out there whose designs I love, but every time I put the fucking shirt on, it's super thin, and I don't like my body enough to want a thin-ass shirt with a cool design on it. Like, that's not going to work for me for that amount of money.
Oh, I like the arm pump. It's so real. I definitely feel the same. I picked a blank that looks good on every body, and it is not the most popular one. Not the cheapest, not the most popular. Won't call anybody out. I'll tell you what I use. It's called Next Level 3600. It's not a brand. They're not capturing their marketing because, like, that name doesn't roll right off the tongue. But, like, fits great, looks great, feels great. Right weight, right texture, can't see through it. It's just a winner of a t-shirt. And I go unisex, like, it's unisex. I don't know what the right... It's t-shirts for whatever. Everybody can put this t-shirt on and look good.
The art of like printing well on a shirt too is so key because like I have a big rack and I love t-shirts, but so many of them just amplify my boobs in a crazy way.
Yes.
And I just got a great t-shirt and it was so perfect because when I put it on, it kind of actually made me look the way I want to look.
Like screen printing, part of its virtue. And, like, I'll answer whatever weird questions you have as best as I can because that is kind of awesome, too. Like, I am just, like, you know, when I say dipping my toe in, I meant I plugged my nose and jumped all the way the heck in. So like, I learned a lot, but like I sound like a Wikipedia page talking about it, but it is like just fascinating how much the technique matters and the way you apply the ink and how that's going to affect the person who wears it. And like, you can make those decisions on big automatic machines, of course, and people who are really talented do, but like, I'm doing it with my hands, like literally for the fans. And like, it's the same thing that kept me motivated in comedy, is like keeping people smiling and happy and feeling good. And like, I wear t-shirts every day, and like, it's not that my t-shirt is my personality. That's not what it's about. It's like, you want a favorite t-shirt in your drawer. You want to feel your t-shirts and like not think about it while you're wearing it and then get a compliment. Feels like nothing until somebody at the grocery store is like, your t-shirt has Judi Dench on it or whatever.
Yeah. And it goes back to getting rid of the coffee table. Like, I just got rid of, I have like 5 shirts all of a sudden again. Yes. I had 20, but I just kept rotating the same 4 or 5 over and over and over because like, so what am I doing hanging on to all these old shirts that I don't love? Like, you gotta make space for only the good.
And the new. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
We should note also for everyone listening that as we're hanging and chatting, that you are in the process of screen printing
I'm making
this
you
amazing
some shirts.
piece of art.
Yes.
So excited.
Which I am excited about. Because it's just not, you guys have an awesome logo. You know that, y'all do. So yeah, I played with it a little bit just to make a single color image so that it wasn't hard to make while we were chilling. But yeah, I'm just going to throw a t-shirt on. I wear a large. Feel free to give me a size preference. You can say it out loud or text or email me if you don't care to share that, but I don't care. I'm 6'1", 230, and I wear a large.
Okay, I think I would probably wear a large or even an XL.
First thing I'm going to do, I just pulled out a t-shirt. I'm going to drop the tape I use first. No, I have a big fancy heat press, and I'm going to use it to de-wrinkle the shirt and knock all the moisture out of it, which takes like 5 seconds, and you might hear some clunking and beeping.
Okay.
So great.
This is so exciting.
And then I'm going to put your t-shirt on, and I will mix some ink.
You're coming to the, I mean, I know you said you just sort of like jumped all the way into the swimming pool, but did you have any experience in screen printing or t-shirt making at all before this?
No, I had enough experience in Photoshop and Illustrator, and I looked at what you have to do to get images ready to hit a t-shirt and knew I could do that. So I knew if I could work with good designers, which I do, that I could learn the rest. And I approached it like a trade or a craft and just really have like found everything I can and really watched people close and like, you know, trying to meet more and more people that know how to do this well and learn better habits. But, you know, no, I'd never made a t-shirt. Weirdly, I remembered kind of late in the process that when I was a little kid, I used to like hang out in a few stores. You know, my parents lived in different cities, and there was like a comic book shop and a flower shop I hung out in one town. And then in Napa, there was this t-shirt shop that I like haunted. I would just go in and like flip all their books and like touch all their dumb letters and numbers and stuff. And I'm sure the staff was just like, who is this orphan? But I spent a lot of time there. And it's funny that like, you know, all the same stuff is like kind of fascinating to me to watch it all work. It's just cool. Which is dumb, but I had to think of a job to buy myself, and I think I could enjoy doing this all day, every day, and thus far, I do.
Do you want to check out this transition I'm about to do, Caitlin?
Do it. Yeah, seamless.
Okay,
Go.
you ready?
Yeah.
So it seems like Seth Rogen found pottery, and that became his first love after comedy, and now it seems like with comedy, you've found t-shirt and screen printing. And it also seems like you both have smoked weed in the past. Where's your relationship with weed now?
I was 5 minutes late to recording this podcast in part because I insisted on smoking out of my beautiful glass piece, which involves changing the water every time and adding ice. Is that a solid response?
Yep.
Ba-ba-boom. Yeah.
Now let's make some green, right? Serious Bob Ross vibes.
Do you have like a bunch of different paints and you're kind of playing Bob Ross, as you say?
Yeah, so Instead of like buying one of every color and trying to keep colors stocked, I mix inks for each job essentially. Wow. So before we started chatting, I looked up a pretty cool green, and we'll just make sure that it looks rad, and I'll mix it.
While you're mixing those colors, do you still have your dog?
Oh yeah, Major is hanging out in the, I believe she's in my sweet lady has an office. She is working through all this yelling, and I believe the dog is in there chilling with her. Major is doing great. She loves the desert. She's a desert pup.
And what's her full name? Major
Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, for any MASH fans that might still be alive.
Well, as we head towards this final printing, I gotta know, what are you gonna put on that pizza dough?
Well, see, I have some leftover chimichurri, so I might go a little wild with the sauce. But then your classic mozzarella, got some feta in the fridge. That might be nice. Gonna saute some mushrooms and shallots, and I will consider a sausage. Although, who knows? Maybe not.
Consider a sausage. Excellent.
Maybe not. Oh, we're getting kind of a cool green coming. I'm pretty happy with her. She looks neat. Okay. Yeah, she's deep. All right, cool. Getting a good, I wanted a huntery, rich green.
I can see it coming together in the bowl that you're holding there because the bowl is glass. So we can see this green developing while we're looking at it.
It is a pretty fun. I do like that part. That's why I use the glass to make sure I get all the goo as I scoop and play.
It's reminiscent of the color of the weed that you were growing at your house the last time we came over. You had a 5-gallon bucket home grow setup that was pretty, it was producing some pretty frosty nugs. That was a good setup.
Yes, I have managed to produce a couple of times nugs that look like they're going to be good and they deeply are not. So that is one trade. If I can make green, that's great because I do not have a green thumb yet. I will try again, but hats off to every grower because their work is just so appreciated. It is hard.
Do you cook with weed as well as smoke it in your beautiful glass piece?
All flower all the time, and not to knock edibles, they're awesome, but I just like the ride so much that no, I don't usually. I like specific strains and flavors so much that the guessing game of edibles in the stores is too much for me, and doing it myself is but flower though.
I'll come over to your pool and bring a bunch of stuff for you to try. How about that?
This is what I'm talking about. Let's make t-shirts and chill by the pool whenever. You are both so cordially invited. And, listeners feel the vibe by extension. I just want this, never had an opportunity to have a place like this where, I can really host and have people have a really wonderful time. Our house is beautiful and there's a little RV outside where folks can chill. Come have a writer's retreat. Come kick it, y'all. It would be really wonderful to have a cute follow-up episode where we are literally eating and making teas.
I would love that. How do you feel if I'm microdosing mushrooms at the time as well?
As long as you're willing to share, that is fine by me. I only occasionally ride and only with the truest, sweetest of friends, and you are on that list. So yes, please.
Yes.
That sounds fantastic. I just am picturing myself posted up next to your pool in a caftan. I have a slice of pizza in one hand and a joint in the other.
Possible sausage.
Possible sausage. It's magic hour. Archie Moo is hanging out with Major Hot Lips Houlihan.
I'm feeling it.
Oh, we just got a picture of you with Major as we brought her up. That's so interesting.
Oh, yes. I had a call from my dear friend Scam Likely that calls every once in a while. I had to decline, so I'm glad Major got to make an appearance through that. Are you ready? I'm going to pull this shirt.
Shit, yes. This is so exciting. We just watched you pour and sweep this. Oh my God.
It's so satisfying.
It is so satisfying.
Yeah, I hope you're getting a little bit of the audio. This was a pretty quiet, nice pull, so yeah, we'll see. Maybe you'll get that.
If anyone's never seen it before, it's almost like the beauty of cleaning your windshield perfectly clean with a whatever that thing is.
It's
called a squeegee. Yeah, it's some of the things have really formal names, well, do you have the right emulsion? And it's are you talking about the stuff that coats the screen? Because come on now, let's calm down. But yeah, the squeegee never found a formal title beyond squeegee. So gotta cover your stencil so she stays nice and wet. I use a water-based ink. Oh, it looks so cute. All right, it's pretty great.
Here's the reveal.
All right, there's one.
Oh my god. It's amazing.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
Wow.
There's a couple places where I know I could push a little harder, or it might be the screen itself, first pass at the job, but as it is, she a cutie. What a cutie.
She's gorgeous.
It looks so good. And I love that green. That is a perfect green. Wow. This has been a first for this show.
Yep.
We've an
interactive hang with artwork in progress. Like this
is a fucking dream come true.
Opened up our horizons to a whole new world of podcasting while watching you work. It was amazing.
This, to me, there will never be as good of a mullet hang as this.
This is the
perfect mullet hang.
I knew you would understand why I wanted to do this so bad. And the rabbit hole of going down and trying things I didn't need to was so funny today. But the simplest design is going to look awesome. And, someday we'll make one that's more colors and bigger and nuttier. But I just wanted to hang and make stuff with my buddies. And your shirt's getting cooked. It'll be ready soon. And I'll make a couple more. And you'll get to hold and have them.
This is an amazing little audio window into the whole process. I love it.
I'm sure it's hard to picture what's happening, but I also hope it was cool to feel something get made, and if screen printing is awesome. The internet is full of answers, but if you want some from me, you can write me at CaitlinGillComedy@gmail.com or DearPivotPrints@gmail.com or TheMerchKitchen@gmail.com or GuaranteeShirtShop@gmail.com or I love to talk about this stuff, obviously. So if anybody's like, what were you just doing? I will tell you.
And what's your Instagram handle?
Caitlin is tall or Guarantee Shirts or
I only want folks like you in my life, Caitlin. Just making big choices, following through, getting good, learning, growing, betting on themselves. You're
genuine, cool, funny.
Fucking funny.
Smart.
God damn.
Talented.
Thank you.
Feel lucky to know you.
Yeah.
That makes me proud. We've talked about it, that some of my coolest comedy memories are because we've met, and I'm very thankful for that. And the same, just looking for how I can help. And usually the most creative people are the best served by that energy, and that's certainly the two of you. And, learning to trust my productive output more and be proud of what I put out there more. And I'm honestly more proud of what I make for others than the stuff I think of for myself. So I feel like there's a whole surge of stuff I'm really proud of coming, which is exciting. She said lining up a t-shirt to make you one.
Wow.
That's the kind of distraction it takes to be raw like that. That's vulnerability, baby. It's still in the marketplace. Remember me.
This is a great message to leave everyone with, I think. Thank you so much, Caitlin. This has just been
Love you both.
An hour
Thank
that
you.
has uplifted my spirit and soul. I've needed this kind of
Thank
moment,
you.
so thank you.
That makes me very happy. Oh, your t-shirt's done.
Yeah. Are we going to call it?
On that note, bye everyone.
Bye.